All right.
All right, we're back. Morse Code Podcast, episode 79. I want to do this real quick. I want to capture everyone's attention and get right into this because I don't want anyone to miss this. Okay. So Dan Moore, Sopee, whatever. We do have a great show for you tonight. We are shortly gonna get into a conversation with returning good friend of the program, Mike Giardi of NFL Network.
Three-time guest.
Three-time guest.
The first.
Big fan of us, and we like him as well. So it works out.
Yep.
We talk a little football. I don't know. We talk some veganism, some Peloton.
Yep.
He brings up something I find incredibly alarming about his Peloton lifestyle that I'm curious for you guys to hear and weigh in on. What else?
House portraits, house paintings.
We talk about art.
Yeah.
So it's great. But please, I want to capture everyone's attention before we get into this. Sopee has a story he wants to share. Now I'm going to kind of paint the picture here, no pun intended. Mm-hmm. If you listen to I think it was our Halloween episode, you mentioned a scenario you got into with your mechanic, quote unquote.
Yeah, by the way, I'll just clarify that right now for anyone who did listen to that. It was my barber. I don't even care at this point anymore.
Okay. It was his barber this whole time. So quick reminder on that. You basically got into a scenario where your barber just kind of just used you for rides.
Took advantage of me.
You literally sent him a picture of the front and back of your debit card to front him some money that I believe was never returned.
It was paid back in the form of haircuts.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Very, very terrible thing that happened to you. Not that it wasn't partly your fault, but anyway, it sounds like you got fleeced once again by someone else. So I'm going to hand it off to you. Actually, before we do that, I have to get this off my chest. How long do you think these Bernie Sanders memes are going to last for?
Dude, that's what I was wondering. Also, it's funny because we haven't brought this up
soon.
And it's only been a day, and I've seen hundreds.
They keep coming. And I like them. They're pretty good for the most part.
Yeah.
Some of them are a little forced. I've seen some good ones. I just find it hilarious where it's like a historical presidential inauguration is literally overshadowed by fucking Bernie Sanders memes because he just happened to sit. It's funny. I mean, the original picture is pretty funny. I in my wildest imagination, didn't think it would get to this point. They keep coming.
Just like our favorite band says, Smash Mouth, the hits keep coming and they don't stop coming.
Apparently they're not stopping anytime soon. I think it at least goes through the weekend. At least.
What I don't understand is I definitely agree that the memes and the picture is funny, but if you think about it, if you just isolate that picture and no one had posted on the internet and was like, let's turn this into something funny, would you have necessarily thought that was funny? It was just an old guy sitting on a fold out chair with a mask. And
we say this all the time. We said it like with the Home Alone villain. This guy did nothing wrong. It was the middle of January, so we put on some mittens, and he was sitting there.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Let him live.
Good grief. He wasn't protesting. He wasn't causing a riot. He wasn't doing anything negative. He's sitting down.
Yeah, it was cold out.
Guy's old. Break. Anyway, let's move on. I don't want to lose you.
He felt the burn. Freezer burn.
Sure did. Good one. Sure did. I'm going to pass it off to you. Enlighten us with your recent experience.
All right. So this is crazy because I didn't even think that this type of situation was possible, let alone.
Also real quick, I don't really know the story yet either. I know the outline. So I'm just excited as our listeners. Go ahead.
All right. So this just happened a few days ago. Basically, I got a knock on my door and this was 2 p.m. And it was at this point in 2021, when someone comes to your house, no one fucking knocks on your door. When you have a visitor.
Sure.
You arrange it beforehand. So I go to look and I'm thinking maybe it's my neighbor who needs help or because I do have an older neighbor or maybe it's I don't know. Sometimes mail will knock just to let you know that the package is there. So I open the door. It's a guy probably in his mid 40s. And he's like, and mind you, this is in the middle of a work day, which makes it even more ridiculous. The guy's like, hey man, don't worry. I'm not trying to convert you or anything. Just making sure that I knew he wasn't a religious type thing.
Sure.
And I said, oh, okay, yeah, like what's going on? He goes,
yeah, me neither.
So he's like, yeah, I was just next door with your neighbor. We'll call her Barbara. I was just with your neighbor next door, Barbara. She told me to come over here. And I was like, oh, interesting. In my head, I'm thinking, all right, so this is probably legit. And he said they're opening a new business in the plaza that's about 5 minutes from my house, and they're looking for word of mouth. And so the way that they're trying to, attain that is by offering their business is going to be like some sort of cleaning and detailing service. So to the first 10 people that just said yes to what he was about to ask me, they were going to offer a free vacuum and steam cleaning of like one room of your choice. Me just being kind of naive, but also not like thinking fast. I thought, all right, fine. So I said yes. And he said, that was mistake number one.
Sure was.
And some would say that may have been the biggest mistake.
Sure was.
So he goes, all right, well, I got someone here who can do it for you. So let me go get him. And I said, oh, right now? Because I thought maybe it's going to be a voucher or something. He goes, no, right now. And I'm like, all right, maybe this is only going to be like a 15-20 minute thing, because I just figured they're going to like vacuum my house. I didn't think it was going to be a complete whatever overhaul. The guy comes back, well, like the actual cleaner guy. So it's not the original person that knocked on my door. He walks in with in bright, bold letters, a Kirby vacuum. And that's when things went south.
That's where you got stopped.
Yeah.
Wow. Good.
Because in the middle of a pandemic, this guy comes in, and not to fast forward, but just to let people know, this became a 3-hour ordeal in the middle of my workday, where I was working, just in case somehow my peers or my boss listens to this. I was working. I was a little distracted because I couldn't get this guy out of my house. So he comes in, and still, I still
wait. I didn't know this part about the story. There were two different guys.
One was the guy who knocked
without a uniform. This seems so sketchy, like already from the beginning. I guess little bait and switch is what I think it sounds like.
Yeah, the first guy was the bait, and the second guy was
you got switched. Yep. Yeah. All right, so the vacuum cleaner guy's in your house. Go ahead.
Vacuum cleaner guy comes in my house, and one of the first details that I remember is that he's like, "Oh, hey man, nice house." And I should have known that the guy was trying to butter me up. He's like, "Nice house. Wow, these are bigger inside than I thought." I was like, "Yeah, thanks, man." So he comes in, he sees my dog, and he makes a comment, which I didn't tell you. I wanted to save it for this.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm sorry. Last time I interrupt.
No,
was this guy just waiting in the truck, like waiting for the signal? Like, yeah. I got one. Let's go.
Yeah, bring in the left.
This is absurd. Go ahead.
They called to the bullpen.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, he's in. He sees my dog. And I'll just describe this guy as he looked like a tall friend of ours. Should I say our friend's name or no?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Lucky? Actually, that's a nickname. So if people aren't going to figure that out.
Lucky?
Yes. So that's why this next comment about my dog is going to like blow your mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
So basically he looked of Eastern descent, such as a gentleman like me.
I was going to say, why don't you just say he looked like me?
No, because he looked a lot like Lucky. A lot like Lucky.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
So anyways, so this guy, I learned a lot of personal things about him over the course of the 3 hours. One of them being that he was half Korean, and he sees my dog and he's like, "Oh, like nice dog. Like what kind of dog is that?" I was like, "She's a half German Shepherd, half yellow lab."
Like, really?
Oh yeah, that's cool. And he goes, "It's funny. You usually don't see like Asian people growing up with dogs in the house." And I'm like, "Yeah, I never grew up with one. She's my first dog. But obviously I love being a dog owner." And he goes, "Yeah, usually you don't see that because a lot of times they raise him because eventually like they're gonna eat him." And I was like, I don't know.
That's
I
tough.
don't know what sales tactic that was, but you might want to.
Not a good one. Yeah. Stay away from the racist undertones.
Yeah.
Or just not even undertones. Just stay away from saying racist things.
Yeah. Stay away from racism when you're trying to sell something. It was also like,
Yeah.
hold on, you're also half Korean. So like, this is very confusing. And he goes, I paused right there, but he continued. He said, the reason that happens, and he was talking about like if you're in a financially I guess inept country, not like an Asian in America. He was talking about those people, like
I understand.
Yeah, eventually, like you might find a day where you need to do that. And I was like, oh yeah, like no,
Yeah,
I'm not even familiar, but no, not here. And he goes, yeah, no, I wasn't saying that you were, but like I grew up with a Korean mom. She's 75. She grew up during the Cold War. She saw someone get shot in the head. It was crazy stuff. This is his verbatim to me. He said that she got on like she was getting on a train, and that's when she saw a soldier get shot in the back of the head. Very bizarre. Anyways, he comes in and like he has a ton of shit with him. The first thing that he has me do is go grab my vacuum. And the reason that he had me do it was because he proceeded to roast it over the next 3 hours, basically saying how inept it was. So he takes my vacuum and he goes, I'm going to push it in this spot 52 times because I want to show you what happens. So he does that. He turns it off and then he does it again. And then he takes his Kirby and does it one more time with that. And he goes, so what was the difference in the times that, like the 2 times that I did it with your vacuum? And I said, well, one time it was off and the other time it was on. He goes, yeah, exactly. Did you notice that once I ran the Kirby over it, he pulled out the filter and showed me how much shit he picked up. He said, see how much stuff I picked up? That's because whether your vacuum is on or off, it's pretty much not working. Like basically saying that I wasted my money on that.
Of course.
Like, all right.
Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate it. He shows me all the different attachments, things that I didn't even know a vacuum was capable of. He showed me an attachment that you could use it to dust things. You could use it to like detail your car. You could use it to change a light bulb. I don't know if you knew that, but apparently there's an accessory where if for some reason you have to vacuum and change your light bulb, you can do those things at once.
That's great.
He told me sob stories to try to get me on his side. And these are also 2 things I left out.
Here we go.
So the first one he tells me is that he used to be a business owner. He used to own We Fix Wireless, which is a franchise of like they fix cell phone screens. He said that he had multiple stores, including at the Pheasant Lane Mall in Nashua, and that when COVID hit, he had to shut down. And then he said that he got screwed over by the mall. So that's another layer of like, man, I've been like fucked around and stuff.
Of course.
So he goes, I went from making 150 to 200 grand a year to now selling Kirby's door to door, but hey, my customers say that I'm pretty good at it. So, I don't mind it. So already he's trying to paint me like a sympathetic picture.
Yeah.
Dude, the next thing that he does, he hands me this white sheet of paper that couldn't have been a plainer explanation of what it was, which was, it said for VIP Kirby salesman, it detailed a trip that you would win if you sold enough Kirby's.
God.
Dude. The trip was something like it may have been a cruise or something like that out of Maryland. And he was like, so no pressure. And he said this 100 times, no pressure. It doesn't matter if you don't buy anything from me today, that's fine.
Great line.
I'd love to get some referrals out of you. And maybe one of those referrals buys something from me.
Sure.
Another great line. Great sales tactics. Yeah. And he's like, but if you do buy something from me, it gets me closer to this prize. And man, like I've never been to Maryland. I'd love to be able to take my daughter. I was like,
oh man,
dude, straight up fucking, these are like panhandler level
big time. But he's in your house.
In my house.
That's your fault. I told you this offline. This is easily solved by, I'm sorry, I'm really not interested. I just have to get back to work. And I close the door to the home that I own. But whatever, go ahead. He's in your house.
I at one point I told my manager too, I was like, hey, I know we have our half-hour call, one-on-one call today. If you hear vacuuming in the background, it's because I let a Kirby salesman into my house. And her response simply was, those guys never leave. And I was like, how the fuck?
I didn't know these guys still
him
existed. That's the craziest part.
This is definitely karma for us, like the sponsorship with Kirby.
100%.
Yep. This is crazy. So I'll speed through some of this stuff. The only real other things that I had was that, number one, while I was trying to work, he would make it sound like I was inconveniencing him. I didn't tell you that part.
Oh,
so when I would be like, hey man, I gotta head back to my my computer. He'd be like, yeah, that's fine. What were
you doing when you weren't at your computer? Just watching him? How much of your house does he have to vacuum?
Dude, it was just my living room.
For 3 hours?
So yeah, because I guess like he was showing me everything that the Kirby could do.
It's a vacuum. I don't know, whatever.
You clearly never seen one.
This sounds like the worst sales pitch I can imagine. I'd leave. I'd be like, I'm leaving. Like, you can stay, but I'm going to call the cops.
So when I told him, I was like, all right, my job is like, I have to be on the phone all day. So I'm going to go.
It's 3 o'clock on a Wednesday. I need to kind of get back to work.
I hopped back on the phones, and whenever I'd hang up, I'd hear him sighing audibly. And it wasn't to make me feel bad for him. It was to show me like, so let's say he turns off the vacuum. He'd be like, damn. And it was clearly him being like, damn, this vacuum's picking up a lot of stuff. Like,
oh my God, dude. Wow. What a piece of equipment. What a machine. Here's what I think would have been hilarious. If like you were on the phone selling something, you get off. He's like, not bad, man. Not bad. Here, try this next time.
Here's what I would have done.
Make sure you tell him about President's Club. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get on there. You got to pull the heartstrings a little bit.
I sent you some of the clips, and you could tell how, I mean, I know I painted the picture, but you almost can't, you can't fully understand how aggressive this guy was.
I just wish you filmed it. God, I wish you filmed it.
Dude, so when he was, some of the other things, just how like abrasive and clearly like racist and also sexist. Whenever he would show me an attachment, he would then hand it to me, plug it in, and have me like try it out, like clean it real quick. And the example that he would always use, he always used a girl in these examples. He'd be like, you know, when your girlfriend's cleaning, you know, because girls tend to be shorter. That's why we have these long attachments, so they can reach like the heating vent that's near the top of my wall.
Jesus Christ, this guy.
Dude,
this guy's not going to like 2021. I'll tell you that much.
No, he got sent
or any year post 1930.
That's what I was going to say. Because I told this story once to another friend of ours to get my reps in. And I was like, this guy got fucking sent here straight from the 1950s. Because all of these things. But he, on a sheet of paper, he broke down. So he asked me about like 5 or 6 different products.
Well, hold on real quick. He was there for 3 hours. You must have given him signals you were going to buy something. You had to have. There's no way he'd waste that much time.
I was respectful. And I think that's all that it takes for these guys to think that they've got a chance.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, go
ahead. He broke down on this sheet of paper. He goes, so your car, how often do you like clean the inside and get that detailed?
Oh, God.
I said maybe once or twice a year. He goes, all right, how much does that cost every time?
Oh, here we go.
He does this with my car. He asked me in the kitchen where I have wood floors, how do you clean that? Swiffers. Okay. How many times do you have to buy Swiffer like fucking wipes a year? How much does that cost?
What are you auditing me? No. You want the receipt?
He went through and did this. So you think those two things sound ridiculous? He then asked me the same questions about my mattress. With my mattress, he said, how much does it cost? And also, how many times do I think I'll have to replace that over the next 20 years? How about your floors? If you have to rip up the carpeting, which you will, and this is the other thing, he'd always be like, you know, you are going to have to do this stuff. Just how often? And I'd say, I don't know, I guess maybe twice over the next 20 years. And he'd say, well, how much do you think it costs to rip out these carpets? And I'd say,
how much is the
dude,
goddamn
I don't
vacuum?
know.
Yeah. Right.
And he'd be like, well, conservatively, and then give me a
ridiculous number.
Yeah. Because he asked me the same question about my vacuum. How much was it? And I said, I wasn't sure. And he goes, well, the average vacuum is between $300 and $500. So we'll call it $400. Dude, if you saw my vacuum, it's clearly $150 at most.
Yeah. Right.
So that's what he was doing the whole time. So when he gets to the end of this sheet, he had tallied up that over the next 20 years, I was about to spend 23 grand on like cleaning and replacing shit.
I don't know how much I've spent on vacuuming in the last 20 years. I'm going to start keeping track. I'll tell you that much.
Dude, I would. The numbers add up. He added them up and they added up.
$20,000 in simple vacuuming. The removal of dirt from your house.
This is the most absurd part. So the vacuum, you can almost use it as like a handheld. So you can, like the body of it at the bottom, you can detach it.
Okay.
So you can use it on stairs. You can use it on your mattress, which I didn't even fucking know that people vacuum their mat. Did you know that? Or do you do that?
No, I don't think so.
I've never heard of it. It's a wild thing. So he's showing me that. And the reason he's showing me the mattress, he pulls out these other two pamphlets and they're, again, generic pieces of paper. He goes, hold this. I'm going to take the vacuum and just pretend that your couch is your mattress. So he comes over. He starts like doing a couple swipes on the couch. And he goes, read me the first 2 bullet points on that sheet that you're looking at. This sheet was about bed mites. It was 10 to 15 bullet points about bed mites.
Oh, God.
Dude, he had me reading them out loud as if I was a 3rd grader in his classroom. So he'd be like, all right, read me the first 2 bullet points and then stop. And then when I stopped, he'd be like, yeah, exactly. Like, and then go on.
This is where I start to get frustrated with you. That's too far. That is ridiculous. Like, you need to learn how to like stand up to these people. You're a grown man. You're older than I am, for Christ's sakes. I would be looking at this like, listen, I'm not reading 15 bullet. Like, what are you getting at? Again, he's not even cleaning a real mattress. That's like saying, all right, here's how it does with cars. Let's just pretend your hardwood floor is your car. Here's how it's going to work. This is, I don't know how much more I want to hear about this. How does this finish?
So let me just finish the point on that thing. Okay. So the bed mite thing, I get through with like reading that sheet of paper and he goes, the reason I'm showing you all this is because your bed, if you were to go look at it right now, and if you were to go vacuum it, it's made of dead skin and bed mites. And if you've ever noticed, when you purchase a new mattress and you first bring it home, it's always so easy to bring home, right? It's always so easy to move up the stairs. Yeah. 10 years later, when you go to get rid of it, it's so much heavier. You know why? It's because of all these bed mites. And I was like, dude, there's no way that I have. Actually. There's no way that it's like 50 pounds worth of dead skin in your bed years later.
I don't know.
This guy was trying to convince me of that.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, it ends with he goes back and forth. So every time that he gave you a number, I would say, yeah, sorry, man. Like, what did I say? I think I said basically it's not within my budget and things are just kind of tough right now. So I can't justify that expenditure. And we must have had that back and forth,
God.
A dozen times.
That's not his fault.
And he would go to his phone and call Josh, the guy who knocked on my door.
Josh doesn't exist.
Yeah,
or at least he doesn't exist as far as getting you a price discount. Go ahead.
Right. I'm pretty sure the first guy who knocked on my door was this guy's peer.
Oh, man.
He definitely wasn't his boss.
I'm going to end up taking a loss on this one, but let me call Josh. I heard it 100 times.
By the way, the numbers started at 2,700 and we ended at around 1,000 for this Kirby.
The hell of a discount.
Yeah. And the discounts that he gave me, this will be the last point that I make. The discounts that he gave me $100 off for the trade-in of my vacuum. He's like, you're not going to get that anywhere else.
Wait. He was going to take your old vacuum? Why? Sell it to someone else?
The trade-in program.
The used vacuum lot out back. Now, do you see yourself getting into something new or maybe visiting our used lot?
Certified pre-owned.
Certified pre-apt out back. Wow. That is absurd.
Dude.
That is absolutely, he is right. You probably won't get $100 for that vacuum anywhere else. I would be like, honestly, I'll sell you the vacuum for $50. You just leave.
He said $100 off for that. $100 off because I said that I knew someone who owned a Kirby, and that was somehow that gets me a discount.
It can't be true though, obviously.
No.
Okay.
$200 off because I gave him a list of 10 referrals, which I showed you the picture. But for the listeners, I just took the first and last names of like the first 10 people I thought of, like you were one of them, and just mismatched them.
Classic.
One of the discounts that he gave me was another $100 off because I was going to be using cash, check, or credit card to pay.
As opposed to what?
That's my question. I don't know if he thought I had like a gold bar or something that he couldn't process.
Now, wait a minute. I think I just thought of something. You weren't planning on using cash, credit card, or direct deposit today, were you? Well, yes, I was actually. $100 right there. This thing's paying for itself.
I think
you can't afford not to buy it.
The last discount that he included there in the paper was the fact that I was helping him to win the contest, to win the President's
Club discount.
Yeah, so that was another $200.
What does that even mean? Of course, you're going to help him if you bought it. I don't know.
I don't even know. And I wanted to be like, all right, well, you could have sold me this for $1,000 in the beginning, but you offered it to me for
building value. You build the value. Come on,
sure.
That. This is a $2,700 piece of equipment. I'm getting out of here for $1,500, $1,000. You're putting that guy through the woodwork for that.
Would you say this is a better or worse deal than our sponsorship with Kirby, the discount that we ran?
We don't make shit with Kirby. But that isn't our discount. Use product code Morse code to get another $100 off your next Kirby. Imagine if you saw that.
$100 off your next download of this show.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute. You don't happen to subscribe to the Morse Code podcast, do you? Why, yes, I do. It's another 100. We're almost in triple digit territory.
We're almost in the negative.
We're getting there.
You need to have less connections with us because
I'm gonna have to write you a check.
Yeah. Basically, like he went back and forth with his boss.
So how'd you end it? How'd you get this guy out of your house?
I just said, I can't do it because times are tough. And eventually, it's hard to say like exactly when it ended because I gave him that answer so many times. Eventually, he just said, all right, that's fine. But really, he ended up.
He's going to kill you.
I'm going to kill him if he
knows where you live.
Anything funny. I know what he looks like. And he'll be traveling very slowly with a vacuum. But the last thing that he did was he was like, all right, I just got to clean up the vacuum, empty out all the accessories and put it back in the box. And dude, it took him like half an hour. I'm not kidding. It took him like half an hour to put everything back in the box because what he was doing was making more small talk, hoping that with the time passing, I'd change my mind.
Sure.
And I was just like,
you come up with a quick $1,500 to buy a vacuum. You weren't planning on buying that day for sure.
Yeah. I was like, dude, oh my God, please get the fuck out of here. But yeah, to be clear, I did not buy anything. I did walk out with a very clean living room.
That's true. Clean. That's true. You got a free cleaning.
So to me, at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, I did let you waste 3 hours of my time, but I also wasted 3 hours of your time.
Big time.
And now I have a clean house and you have 10 referrals of made up characters.
Yep. So what was the final asking price? You could have bought it for $1,000.
I think it was $1,000. Yep. Which is still a lot for a vacuum.
A little high. Yeah, that's high.
But
I will say, vacuum though.
That Kirby is fucking legit.
Is it nice? Yeah.
Dude, number one, it was super lightweight. And number two, it does feel like a completely different living room. Like my carpet is so smooth.
You should call him back. What if you went to someone's house who lived in like an immaculately clean house? Like you're really banking on finding a really like gross house to sell.
So that's what I was wondering, because I know that Kirby's are good, but
yeah,
is there some trick behind the presentation where no matter what, the filter that he keeps changing just spits out like shit that wasn't there?
Perhaps. I don't know. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting afternoon for sure. With that being said, I'd like to hear some feedback on this from our listeners. What you think? How you would have ended this earlier? I get it, dude. I know it's easier said than done. I'm the same way with people. I think if you work in sales, you naturally kind of. I've always said, I think if you work, I think salespeople like I'm a very easy sale. Like I've never negotiated a car. I basically bought this house the day we looked at it. What else? Just stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I know, because I know what it's like on the other side. So do you. It's like if I'm going to a place and I say, hey, I'm interested in this car. What's the price? And they name a price that I think sounds fair. I'm going to buy it. Like, that's it. Like, there's really nothing else to it.
Yeah. It's
Something
just
like
yes
this,
or
though,
no. I don't do the haggle thing.
No, it's a waste of time. Clearly it's a waste of time. I don't think I would have gotten this guy in the house. Kirby vacuum, middle of the day, middle of a panda. Nah, bro. Like I'm sorry. I'm not interested. Just leave. I close the door and lock it. That's fine. That's it. But again, once he's in the house and stuff, no, definitely not. I would bolt your door shut and then just go out the windows. But anyway, let's get into our conversation with Mike Giardi. We have some football coming up this weekend. He talks a little bit about that and then everything else. So with that being said, here is our next part of our episodes, our interview with Mike Giardi from the NFL Network.
Peace.
Cool. And as always, if you want to break any news or anything like that, feel free to do it right on the show.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Please, if you don't mind. It's like, did you guys, what were we talking about the other day? It was Rappaport. I think he was on Pat McAfee and broke, like he had to step away because it was when Dwayne Haskins got cut, I'm pretty sure. So anything like that you want to do, please.
Those guys, man, their phones never stop. Like
dude, I can't imagine.
It's funny. I've had conversations with other reporters about like, would you ever want to be that person?
No way.
Because there's no like.
I get asked the same thing.
Yeah.
I have the same answer. No way.
There's never any break.
Can't do it.
They must have multiple like phone numbers too.
Oh,
right?
yeah, they do. Yeah. I mean, I think Adam's got like 3 cell phones. I think Rap has. I have 3 cell phones, but only because I'm too lazy to swap out one of my work phones. And I don't want to give him my other phone because, you know, there's some information in here doesn't belong to them.
Sure.
You know,
I've always wondered how much info do you think they need to get before they're comfortable like tweeting like this is happening?
I mean, I'd assume it's all based on who's giving them the information, you know?
Really? Yeah.
I mean, it's the general manager calls you and says, yeah, I'm hiring Nick Sirianni. Okay, done. You know, I don't need to vet it. I mean, every once in a while they're wrong or you'll have to walk something back, but.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what was like the last like big public one that was like wrong. Do you guys remember any scenarios? I thought there was a baseball one recently where they totally like,
oh yeah,
like
yeah,
not even close.
Yeah, someone got duped by like a Twitter account.
Yeah. And that'll happen sometimes too.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time. Like I'll scroll through it and it's like kids with like Adrian Wojnarowski with like a G or something instead of a J.
I've been burned a few times. It's the blue check mark. Always look for the blue check mark when you're trying to break news or whatever. You're trying to like verify it's true because I think I got bum rushed by a couple of fake Schefters, 10 years ago or something. You're like, oh shoot.
Yeah, I always
not a good look.
I can't count on my hand the number of times I got by the fake Howard Cosell account. That one always gets you.
I can understand why.
Hey, before we start,
wait for you to keep up on things with the Howard Cosell Twitter feed.
Yeah, Howard Cosell, Walter Cronkite, both of those like always get me. What are you sipping on, by the way?
That's a Imperial Stout.
Oh,
okay.
Peanut butter stout, actually. It's quite nice.
Dan's heard of that. I've had one.
I'm doing dry January, and it's the worst in my life. This is the worst year to do something like this.
Seriously.
Worst month and the worst year to do something.
I know. I've had a couple friends who are like, are you going to do dry January? I'm like, no.
Yeah. I don't know. I just said, like, a couple of guys in my office are doing it. At this point, I'd be disappointed in myself if I didn't do it at this point. I'd be like, I'm probably an alcoholic if I can't go another week.
You're almost there.
Yeah. So light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I've done the completely dry, no liquids, period. I haven't had water since November, actually.
You were looking a little gaunt there.
Yeah. That's why I threw on the Supersonics. The yellow would throw off like the
color. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. All right. Let's not wait. Let's waste more of Mike's time. Jesus Christ. Go ahead. Sopee, go ahead. You can get us started here. I'll keep an eye on the clock.
Yeah. I guess first question is, Mike, what do you guys do now? Since like when we were talking through DM, you said, things are a little different this year with obviously you don't have to be out. Like when the Super Bowl comes around, are you going to have to physically travel for that or no?
Yeah, I don't even think we've firmed up plans about how that's going to go. I mean, there's been some talk about teams not going until later in the week. I've heard conflicting reports on that, but, obviously based on there are no media nights, none of that stuff is happening. So, they can operate, I guess, if they wanted to stay in their home base until Thursday or Friday, they could do it. If they wanted to. And I don't know if they've made up their minds. And that's sort of, I think it's going to play on how we do things a little bit too. But obviously, again, same thing, like no Tuesday media night thing. So like we don't, I'll be sitting on my couch, I don't even know if they're going to try to do something like that virtually. I mean, I can't imagine that they'd have much success doing something like that. So it's just going to be sort of the same that it's been all year long.
Sitting on your couch, probably not eating cake. Unless we have something to do.
No, because the cake delivery service apparently doesn't work.
Dude, you know that USPS has had some issues over the past.
That's fair.
Months.
I had a UPS guy drop off a cooler full of food. I ordered like a food thing at the end of the street. It didn't even come to my house. Like, and it's got all the stuff. Like, it's got all like whatever. It basically tells people that there's food in there. And he just dropped it off at the end of the street. I'm like, okay, someone's getting lazy because that's like the fourth delivery and the three of them have come to the front step. And then this one is, 100 yards away down the street.
Hold on. When you say food delivered, are you talking about like meal prep, like pre?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which company do you go with, Mike?
I go Daily Harvest.
We're a HelloFresh family over here. I think, I believe, I don't know.
Well, it's just,
I enjoy it.
Yeah, nobody else in my family does it, but it's just me. Like, I'm not a big. I eat crap for breakfast, cereal all the time, and I was like, all right, I got to stop eating useless cereal. I need to actually have something that fuels my body. So, some chia bowls, some oat bowls, whatever.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it a lot. I don't pay for it or cook it. But I enjoy it a lot. It's
that's the best kind.
Yeah, and it's like, not to go too much on a tangent, but we had a plan. My wife and I were like, all right, we'll get like a month's worth of this. Then we'll have enough recipes where we can just buy the stuff on our own and do it. Way easier, way more affordable, way easier said than done as well. It's like, it's so nice when you just get it, you open it. Sopee, I don't know what you eat, but it's just like, you just cook it, the recipe, the ingredients. I don't know. There's some free advertising for HelloFresh if you're listening. I don't have like a discount
Daily Harvest.
Offer
I mean, come on. Yeah, Sopee, what do you eat?
So actually, my serious answer is I do. For 4 months, I did a vegan diet, which I know you're not a huge fan of, so I won't go on a tangent. But I did. I had a girl who's kind of like a nutritional expert, whatever. She does the meal prep for you, and would deliver like 4 days worth of meals at a time. So it's kind of cool.
Let's be real. Let's cut to the chase. Were you trying to date the girl?
No. If I was, I wouldn't have gone vegan. I would have gone like steak and potatoes, because
No, but then she thinks you're a new age sensitive guy because you're going vegan.
Yeah, but I'm trying to come off as like manly and buffer than I am.
Did vegan make you gassy?
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of Brussels sprouts. A lot of like the imitation meat is obviously just soy based.
I've never tried it.
Yeah.
It's soy based. Dan, does that sound good? Does that sound like, I got to have me a soy based burger?
No, I wouldn't go out of my way to enjoy it, but I have always been curious. Like, what do you think? Does it taste similar, Sopee?
Yeah. Did it? Especially, so the things that she had me like eat that were in place of meat was soy based, like deli meats. It tasted pretty close. And then another one was like an American chop suey that used soy hamburger. And because the bits are so small, it doesn't taste that much different. So
my brother was pretty hardcore for a while there, vegan and like, I don't know, maybe like his old girlfriend, he's married now, different woman, but like his old girlfriend was nuts about it. So he did it for like, I want to say like 5 years, maybe even a couple of years after she was gone. And I just remember when he finally decided to switch back, he's like, I'm eating. And he went like, the cravings must have been so crazy. So like he would eat like 3 hamburgers. And then of course he'd be sick as a dog. Yeah. And then he'd get like chicken and he'd just go like, 3 chicken breasts and he'd eat them in one sitting. He'd be like, dude, you can't do that. And he'd be sick as a dog. But he was just like,
no way to live.
I'm getting back. I'm getting back into it.
Hold on real quick. Are you a Peloton guy?
No.
Oh, I was just going to ask him that. Damn it. It would be an appropriate question if you said yes. We'd have a good follow-up. Maybe I could ask you anyway. So you know what Peloton is, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Well, have you ever done like a spin class or anything like that? Okay.
No, sir.
I think your input on this would still be valid. So Sopee and I are big Peloton guys as of a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're big endorsed.
We're all
nice. Yeah.
We're negotiating Peloton. Some ad space. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but
HelloFresh, whatever. HelloFresh, right?
Yep. Anyway, with the Peloton, you get special shoes that you have to clip into the pedals. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. Okay. Now, I will admit, for Sopee's case, it is a little challenging to clip in and clip out as newbies. It takes a little finessing to do it. I'll admit, the first time I did it, I could get my right foot out, but I couldn't get my second foot out. So I had to undo the shoes, take it out, and then take it off. Okay. We were having a conversation the other day about Peloton, and I mentioned I love it, but it did take me a while to get used to clipping the shoes in and out. And now Sopee mentioned that he's gone to the point where he sucks at it so much, he just leaves his shoes clipped on.
I like that.
And he sits on it and just puts them on while they're clipped in the pedal.
That sounds like something
a psychopath move, or is that?
No, I think that's something my 14-year-old son would do. Like don't tie the shoes, just slide the shoes on. Like, hey, didn't we just spend like $150 on those shoes? Like you're crushing the back. Yeah, I don't want to tie them. I'm in a rush.
Okay. I just sent you a picture, Mike. I DM'd you the picture. So if you're curious what it looks like, so I don't think it's that crazy. And also, dude, it's hard.
Well, I mean, that's a little bit embarrassing for you, like that you couldn't.
It is, Mike. Like seriously, like, and also the other thing, what I do love about the Peloton,
dude, that is twisted. Yeah, you got problems.
Again, more free advertising, but what I like about the Peloton the most, and I promise we'll talk some football in a minute. It is silent. That was my biggest fear because I like to work out early in the morning when my wife and my son are sleeping. My wife usually works out when she gets home later at night. It is silent, but putting the clips in, it sounds like a gun going off. Like it's so loud, and a quick jerk clip and getting out is even worse.
You guys have no idea what happens in this house. Okay, so I'm in the basement studio, right?
Yeah,
and it's 3/4 finished basement, and then the other half is laundry, and there's the water heater and all that, and there's my workout area. It's on the other side of the wall because who wants to see the ugly weights? And
sure,
I have a stationary bike that is probably 35 years old, 30 years old. Came straight out of the sports center in Falmouth, Massachusetts. A friend of mine gave it to my father.
6 p.m. or 11 p.m. Sports Center. Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
I forgot how bad your jokes are. I mean, how much you try, but they're just not good. But I have this thing, and I've had it since we moved into this house 20 something years now for my father. It's got like the green glow screen. It's got like the plastic casing around the whole body of it. So you don't actually see the cycle part of it. It's all like hooded up. That thing is the loudest thing ever. It is so loud. Nobody in the house wants to that thing's awful. Can't you? We have another one. Another one, brand newish Nordic track thing, whatever. It's sitting over in the corner, hasn't been used because I love that thing. I love the 35-year-old bike. It's going to die one day, and I'm probably going to cry. I'll just say it. I'm very attached to that bike.
It's got a TI-83 for the screen.
It's like Atari. I'm telling you, it's a total green screen. I will take a screenshot for you and send you that. Nice. Phenomenal stuff.
I think there's something to that effect, like working out with old beat up, like Rocky type equipment. It makes you feel a little more manly when using that stuff.
Oh, totally.
Personally,
and I don't have to leave my shoe clips in the pedals.
Yeah, that's a very strange look.
I stopped using weights
because I'm unathletic.
Right.
I'm talking to you, Sopee.
What's Sopee? What's the issue?
I said that I stopped using weights because like you, Dan, I agree. Like it's kind of like getting ink under your fingernails as like a writer or something, like wanting something old fashioned. So I just go outside and lift cars for like hours.
Nice. Yeah, the car. You just drive the cars down the street. What's he doing with the he's got the Volvo. He's pushing it down the street now.
He has like the Rocky IV like log on his back. Just exactly. Merrimack, New Hampshire.
And then when he's done, he hikes up. He runs straight up a mountain. Yeah, like 30,000 feet and doesn't die because that's just a leather coat. Just got a leather coat on. Yeah, it's fine.
And then he fights Ivan Drago, and then we record this. Here we are. Yeah. Question for you.
Shoot, we're gonna talk football now.
If you don't mind.
I'm enjoying this conversation.
So I don't know if I want to frame this as like you settling a debate. I think I just like to get your opinion on this. Not a debate between me and Sopee, between some other followers of the show. Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers have retired. Sounds like Drew Brees is that official, you think? Okay.
I mean, I would be surprised if he came back.
Okay.
His body is failing him big time.
Where do you I don't need like an actual ranking of like greatest quarterbacks. Where do those guys kind of fall as now that they're retired, looking back on their career, kind of all time? Guys like Rivers and Brees.
I think Brees, for me, when I look at obviously the totality of the career, the numbers are outstanding. I think he right now is the leading passer yardage wise in NFL history, although Brady is going to play like 9 more years. So that'll get erased that quickly. But to me, it's an underachievement. They won 1 Super Bowl. And I think if you look at the teams that they put together, especially I think over the last 3 or 4 years, when I think they really sort of pushed all their chips to the middle of the table, to come up short time and time again, and some horrible playoff losses. And there's a bad call, it cost them, whatever. I think that's sort of I kind of view the Saints and the Steelers in the same regard in terms of like all this talent. And you've only won how many? Obviously the Steelers won a ton back in the day, but I'm talking about with Tomlin as head coach. Every year they're in the mix, but they've only won 1 title. And I look at the Saints and say, you should have won more with the guy who clearly was. And like, I'm not dogging him. I mean, a tremendous player, the intelligence, you can't really fool him. But I mean, you saw obviously the last couple of years in particular, the arm was just cooked and it was a killer. I mean, the Buccaneers said we're playing man. And in order for you to beat us, you're going to have to throw over the top of us.
Yep.
They couldn't do it because he couldn't do it. So, I mean, look, he's clearly a Hall of Famer, and I don't even with what I'm just saying about him, I don't even quibble about that. I think it should be like instantaneous.
Breeze, right?
To me, disappointment. Yeah. As for Rivers, 5 playoff wins in 17 years.
Not great. Right?
And they had some really good teams in San Diego and was it all in San Diego or maybe that first year in LA. And then, of course, in Indianapolis this past year. But I don't think he was ever, I don't know, like you look at it, you say, he might have been in the conversation as one of the 3 or 4 best passers in a particular year. And he was probably top 10 almost every year, but he was never like, oh my God, I have to play Phillip Rivers. I have to, like you look at, if I'm Green Bay right now, I'm crapping my pants because it's Brady. And, for all the things that were going right or weren't going right with that team. And clearly the defense sort of won them that game against the Saints. It's Brady. Like I'd be petrified. Phillip Rivers, was anybody ever really scared of Phillip Rivers?
No.
And he's probably making the Hall of Fame too, right? Because the numbers are outrageous. He's won a ton of games. His teams have won a ton of games. But I mean, 0 Super Bowls. That's kind of crazy considering
0 Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah.
It's not great.
And part of that is you got stuck in the AFC, and Brady has been to a billion of them, so he chewed up a lot of that. He chewed up a lot of that for a lot of different teams. I mean, Pat Mahomes could be going for a 3rd straight, if you take 2018 and playing at home in the AFC Championship game, and the Patriots pitch a perfect game in the first half defensively, and then Brady in overtime late in the 4th quarter in overtime. So
no, that's great. So to put a little context around that, so I'm not going to name any names, but a good friend followed the program, threw out a couple hot takes at us. One was Drew Brees potentially going down as the 2nd greatest quarterback of all time.
No,
can't do it without any postseason, right?
No, I mean,
Like,
so again, if you're going to, and this is the other thing too, and I think we lose the context of what the game was versus what the game is now. Now, everybody, if you're not completing like 66, 68% of your passes, what are you, the team is looking to move on. What is wrong with you? You're terrible. If you're not throwing for 4,000 plus yards, what is wrong? I'm Cam Newton. Hello. Like, what is wrong?
Your words, not mine, buddy.
You're not good enough. It's not good enough. So I look at guys like, I mean, could you imagine? And again, I'm older than you guys. Elway, Marino, some of these guys in this era where defensive backs aren't allowed to touch people, the numbers would be outrageous. Crazy. Marino would have thrown for like 6,500 yards. I mean, it just, they would have killed people. And I don't know if they would have won Super Bowls, but I'm just saying in terms of staggering stats, like those stats would have been inflated something fierce. I mean, it's Brady for me. Obviously, it's Montana. I don't think you can Montana in this era too. Same thing. Would have tore it up. Elway is one of the best ones I've ever seen. Again, I'm just talking about when I started watching football. Like even I remember Bradshaw and Staubach, but that was like I was a little guy.
When did you start actually covering football, like professionally working football?
99.
Okay. But obviously, like you're a fan of football before that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
My father was a football coach. So.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay, so that makes sense. So that's good to hear. The other one on Rivers was, I agree. I think by default, he has to go to the Hall of Fame just based on numbers. Do you think he's a no doubt, no questions asked first ballot Hall of Famer?
No, I think there should be questions. I think he's going to get in.
It probably depends on the class too.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge part of it too, right? I mean it's how many guys are up, who's up in that class. Yeah, I mean look at like did you see the Peyton Manning thing? You know the presentation for Peyton Manning. They were releasing some of the presentations because they had the meeting, right, where it was earlier this week, and it was 8 hours and 47 minutes. Now, normally these things are obviously done in person, and there is a representative that speaks for a player that's up. Yeah. So I think it was Mike Chappelle from Indianapolis. I might be wrong on that, but I think that's the guy's name. And he was like, he basically was like, look, this is my drop the mic moment. Peyton Manning, first ballot. Like, I don't have any, like, what else am I supposed to say? Do I have to argue for Peyton Manning? I don't have to argue. It's like Brady. I mean, it's going to be whoever is supposed to be presenting for Brady is just going to be like, the dude won like 1 million Super Bowls. That's it. Done. Okay. First ballot. See you later.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny though. It was unique.
So is Peyton Manning up this year?
Yep.
He's not in the Hall of Fame already, right?
No.
When did he retire? 5 years ago then?
5 years. Yeah. This would be his first go round. So
do they already know the NFL Hall of Fame class for this year?
There's only one person who knows the number, and that's that David Baker guy who's, you see him shaking all the hands and knocking on the doors. Obviously won't be able to do that this year either, thanks COVID.
I just got a text. There's actually now 2 people that know.
Oh yeah. Well, you are an insider. I don't even think Schefter and Rappaport know. So
no.
I blocked them for sure.
So that'll be good. What about who else? I thought I saw Calvin Johnson. Is he up this year?
Calvin Johnson's up.
He must have retired more than 5 years ago. No.
Yes.
He definitely retired before Peyton Manning.
Yeah, maybe.
Same year? That's crazy.
He might just be 5.
Crazy.
But then there's a lot of like it's
maybe he's not first ballot.
John Lynch is back up in the mix again as one of the finalists. Richard Seymour is a finalist again this year.
What do you think about him? That's an interesting one.
I think
he should make it.
I don't know that he's going to get in again this year, but I think he's going to get in because I think part of the equation is the Patriots won, 2 separate dynasties, and he's part of that. And when you start looking at the overall picture, you can't just have a couple guys that get in there. Vinatieri's going to get in when his time comes up. Obviously, Ty Law's in. Brady will get in. You got to start looking at some of these defensive guys.
Yeah.
And
good call.
I mean, Seymour for 3 or 4 years was probably their best player, and that's with Brady. I mean, Brady hadn't quite ascended to being Brady yet, but like that, and he was to me like a top 10 player, period, in the league.
Right.
So
he's probably one of I'm trying to think of their first round draft picks in the last like 20 years. He's got to be up there.
McCourty,
I'm trying to think. Vince Wilfork, was he a first rounder?
Wilfork, I think 20th overall. Wilfork and Seymour were the two to me like tremendous. Whatever 8, 10 year, 12 years, whatever it was that they got out of Wilfork. I think it was more like 8 for Seymour before they moved on, or 9 for Seymour before they moved on. But
was that one when Brady was pissed when Seymour got moved?
Brady was pissed when Seymour got moved. The one he really threw a bleep fit over was Logan Menkins. That's when he grew the beard.
Oh yeah.
That was the one that bummed him out quite a bit. And Lawyer Malloy, he and Lawyer were close.
Oh yeah, that one. Obviously.
They laid the egg, and then they play Buffalo 5 days later and get destroyed.
Yep.
There was a little residual from that, and then I think they went 14-2 that year.
Yep. So was that the Drew Bledsoe Bills too?
Yeah.
Boy,
that was that. They hate their coach.
Yes,
they hate the coach, Tom Jackson.
Did. Yeah.
So
I can imagine he stuck around for another 18 years or whatever it was after that.
The Peerless Price era in Buffalo.
Price.
Pier 1 imports. Yeah,
he's no Eric Moulds. I love Moulds.
Good call. Ooh. Those were also up there with, like off the top of my head, some of my least favorite NFL uniforms of all time. Those Bills uniforms between like
the dark navy blues.
Yes.
Oh God, with like the weird
I love their uniforms now.
Me too.
Maybe their my daughter's a big uniform. She likes. What's your favorite uniforms? What's your least favorite? And we both agree the Bills are probably top 5.
Big time.
100% blue ones, agree. Very nice.
I like I randomly saw this on YouTube or something. I remember, I forget what year it was, but it was when like everyone was wearing throwbacks. Like when the Patriots were wearing the red throwbacks.
Yeah.
The Bills had those, I think, similar jerseys, but the helmets with like the red like bull on it.
Oh yeah.
Those are pretty. I like.
Pretty sweet. I actually kind of like their red. Their alternates. They're red.
Me too.
Those are pretty good.
The Thursday night color rush or whatever. Yep. Yeah, those are nice.
The color rush. The color rush.
And the Patriots just stuck with their color rush forever.
Yeah, right?
You don't like those, do you? Have we talked about that?
I mean, they're fine.
Oh,
I don't hate them.
Not a big fan.
I mean, they can't do the same thing. They can't do the red ones because they can't. What's the stupid matching with the helmet and thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's for like safety precautions because of the helmet, right?
Allegedly.
NFL is always safety first. I'll give them that.
I mean, can't you just get them new helmets and throw like?
Why don't you just update the helmets?
And then you auction them off for charity.
I don't know.
Everybody's happy.
Go ahead, Soap.
Actually, real quick in the back, I see an S helmet. Is that Syracuse?
It is.
Oh,
that's an ode to. That's a little mini helmet. It's an ode to my pops. My pops played at Syracuse back in 61 through 64.
Okay.
That's great.
Played in the same backfield with Jim Nantz, not Jim Nantz, the television broadcaster, but Jim Nantz, the former Patriot.
Oh,
very cool.
I also thought Jim Nantz, the announcer, was a former Patriot. No?
Yeah, no. He's no, definitely not. Allegedly had a, he got divorced. I don't know whenever it was. And I think in one of the stories that came out about him, if you walked into their house, like the foyer or whatever you want to call it there was a big painting of him.
Of Jim
That
Nantz?
Sounds very on brand.
Jim Nantz.
That sounds very, who is that? Isn't there a story about someone famous who has, maybe it's Jeffrey Epstein. Doesn't he have Jeffrey Epstein have like a picture of Bill Clinton or something like that?
Oh, I remember watching in the beginning of the pandemic, one of the things on Epstein, and I remember him saying there was a lot of like naked women pictures on the wall.
Oh, no, that's normal.
Which was totally on brand for him as well.
Yeah. I don't like where this is going.
Nor do I. Let's change the subject. I'm going to pour some more. Soapy. I'm going to pour more
please.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Kanye. From that Aziz Ansari skit where he talks about like he once showed up. I don't know if you've seen this, Mike, but comic Aziz Ansari, who was supposedly friends with Kanye West, said that he showed up to Kanye's house and Kanye was just blasting his own music, like vibing out.
Maybe. Well, there's the Kramer portrait too. That's another example.
What's her name? Supermodel Heidi Klum.
Oh,
she was married to the singer Seal.
Yes, correct.
Allegedly. Not even allegedly. I think it was like prominently featured. There was a naked picture of the two of them.
Oh, okay.
And that was also, I don't know if it was in the foyer or the living room. Maybe it was over the fireplace. Next to the big screen. I don't know. But that's art. Yeah.
Hey, a little conversation starter when family comes over.
You have, okay, we're not going to do that.
Mighty fine art here. Well, it's like, did you see Dwayne Wade posted that thing on Instagram the other day? Like naked behind Gabrielle Union. It didn't like show anything, but then you know what I'm talking about, Sopee?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, because then it is like his son, what's his name, like Zion or Zion or something?
Zion Zaire, I think.
He's like, he commented, he's like, didn't expect to log on to Instagram and see this.
That's not what we're looking for, Dad, Mom, come on.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Wow.
A real quick Jim Nantz thing before I ask my real question. Have you guys heard the story of Jim Nantz, how this was like 3 or 4 years ago? He went through a phase where just like kind of funny stories came out about him. And one of them was that whenever he's traveling on the road to do a game or something, he'll pop into, I think he likes to go into like diners for breakfast and stuff. He'll show up with a picture of toast the exact way that he likes it cooked.
Yeah.
That was one of the weirdest but funniest
That's
stories
phenomenal.
I've ever heard.
And and there was the other one about him giving the tie right from the Final Four.
Yeah, to like Ryan Arcidiacono.
Yeah, like what are we doing?
I can see him being like a closet weird guy.
Dude, and
like
he did that in the post-game interview with that basketball player. He's like, you know, to commemorate your performance, I think this has been really special. You've had a great run. Your teams must be so proud of you. I'd like to give you my tie that my dad gave me. And it was just like, dude, this is getting really weird, Jim.
Yeah, I'd be like, dude, how about if you give me some money?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Right.
Like, I'm going pro now. Like, just, you know, give me some money. I don't want a tie.
Hey, that's a tradition like no other.
There you go.
Giving college kids money, a tradition like none other.
My real question, Mike, is there was an Instagram post that I think is pertinent to your line of work that came out, Linda Holliday. So just for anyone who's listening who's not familiar, the picture that she posted, I don't know if she posted the picture recently, but the comment was put in there recently. Some just random fan went onto her picture and said, "Too bad Bill let Tom go." And Linda responded, "And you have all the answers, evidently. Tom didn't score last night, not once. Defense won that game.
Whoops.
Were you even watching? On the other hand, I'm happy for Tom's career. Why can't you be?" Do you think Linda Holliday is going to like mysteriously vanish at the hands of Bill Belichick?
I do.
I would say that look, Bill's not gonna, if we're being serious for a minute, he's not gonna control what she does. Obviously, she's a grown woman, you know, mother of 2 twins, I think.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever. But there's no way that went over well. And obviously she's now closed it down. Although she made it private, she has like 60,000 followers. So I'm not thinking those are her close personal friends that are following her. But look, it's like, seriously, it's a hot button issue. It's going to be. And now Tom's continuing to play on while you guys have been home. And people are saying, wait, what was the plan again at quarterback? It was a broken down Cam Newton, and you sold us Jared Stidham, and that obviously you didn't even put him on the field when it mattered. It's a thing. They hear it. I mean, look, I can tell you this: the Crafts hear it, Belichick hears it, everybody in that coaching staff hears it, and there are guys in that locker room. Actually, all the guys in the locker room, they've heard it too, from friends, family, whatever. You know, walking down the street and someone said, "Wow, how could Belichick got rid of Brady?" You know, like that's the nature of the beast, and that's when he continues to play this way.
Yeah,
you know?
It's going to keep going, and it's hilarious. I think from a fan's perspective to see that be made tangible, because we know that they know.
Yeah,
we don't see like an actual reaction. So I'll tell you this: there's no way Bill is going to let Linda keep their portrait up in their foyer.
No, I thought she was going to get the Jonas Gray treatment and just get cut the next day.
I mean, I guess there's still time.
Very true.
We don't know how this plays out. You know, when we get back into stadiums, hopefully next fall. I mean, is she going to be there?
Now we're talking.
She just, you know, and now if you're not following her on Instagram, you're not going to see if she's in the Nantucket houses or whatever. Like, you don't know.
So. By the way, and like when you go private on Instagram, I didn't know this until recently. You can still see their stuff, but only their followers can comment on the post. Because I was very well prepared to go on there and continue trolling, but I wasn't able to. I don't mean that.
You can still see it. That's weird.
Yeah.
It really doesn't do much. How that's supposed to be designed.
Yeah, well, it's weird.
Who's going to help her, Bill? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd probably make it even worse.
I mean, her kids, her daughters, they got to know this stuff. Like,
yeah, that's fair. Good point. I have a quick question.
That just seems odd to me.
Who knows?
Going private, or you like just go on and you like make an account that's private, and then people could see it.
You better not do that to us.
I would never.
She probably just was like, I need to do something. I'll just go private. She probably saw it like under settings and like did that. Now no one's going to talk about, you know, Tom Brady versus Bill ever again. No problem. Problem solved.
Yeah. So we are forgotten.
It's an afterthought.
What happened again? Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Quick question before we let you go. Obviously this is like, you know, new head coaching season around the league. There's been a few guys already hired. Josh McDaniels is a name every year, it seems. Sopee brought this up, and I didn't even really think about this till he did. And I actually randomly heard it. Someone on the radio was talking about it too. Is Josh McDaniels and what he did with the Colts like one of the more just slept on, like forgotten about big deal stories? Or was that really not that big of a deal what he did?
I would
to me, it sounds crazy.
No. It's definitely a big deal. And
I know Giardi would do that.
It's
no.
I almost didn't do this. I almost just walked away from this.
Hey, watch
sat
it.
in front of it. And I was like, do I really want to?
No, fuck.
I was like, I'm just gonna have a beer and we're gonna talk about the
blackout and pretend
so
this never happened.
Shoes, leaving the shoes on the clips because he's too unathletic to get them off. No, I think there's no question. It definitely left a mark. And you just look at this year, 7 vacancies, and look, you can rule some of them out. Like Detroit's not going to hire another New England guy. They just did the New England GM and the New England coach. That didn't work. Houston, I know they hired Caserio, but that would have been a really hard sell to go Caserio and McDaniels in Houston. I mean, that's a mess. A whole other story. There's a couple. He wasn't going to go to the Jets. That's a job that you automatically just that's not happening.
I'm good, thanks. Yeah,
but he got left at the. I mean, last year he couldn't even get the interview with the Giants. They lock up Joe Judge before he even gets to interview with them. And this year he only gets the one request, and that's from Philly, and that doesn't happen. And I mean, and I think in each of the last 2 years, Josh wanted to go, would have gone, had there been an offer, and there wasn't an offer. And he's cold right now. There's no question he's cold. I mean, I had people tell me like, look, some of them look at again, it depends on where you're coming from. Some people look at what he did this year with the offense and say he did a hell of a job considering he has a bunch of
couldn't call throwers
and
plays.
5s at wide receiver and a quarterback who can't throw.
Very impressive, actually.
And some people say, like wasn't he part of the reason why Cam got there? Like, wasn't he part of the reason that they recruited Cam? And then this thing nosedives and they can't throw the ball. And, where's the creativity? So
what do you think, Mike? We talk about that a lot. When I'm watching it, I picture it like Josh McDaniels can't call certain plays. So it's like, what the fuck? What do you want me to do? No, I mean, there's no question. And you're talking to some people in that building that say like, we couldn't do, never mind like the Brady stuff or like, this is Brady, the quarterback and anybody, who you bringing in that we can say, oh yeah, Brady, Aaron Rodgers comes in. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, Brady, like give me something like that. But anybody else who comes in, we're not talking about that comparison. We're just talking about, can you run your offense? Yeah. And you run it at a high level, and they couldn't do so many of the things that made them successful certainly as a passing offense. I mean, look, how many games did he have that he threw for less than 100 yards? Like multiple.
in this era where you roll out of bed and you throw for 250 and 2 touchdowns, like it just
Phillip Rivers. Yeah,
exactly. Pretty staggering.
Without looking, do we think that Cam passed 1,500 yards for the season?
I want to say, he did.
Yeah.
I want to say I want to say it was around like 3,500.
Oh, that seems high. Jeez.
Hang on.
Well, he threw for like 500 against Seattle.
Yeah.
So maybe if you take that outlier out.
You guys filibuster. Google.
Well, we do this all the time. I think one of the more alarming stats was his like QBR and like passer rating. They're literally like single digit games.
I shot way high. 2,657 yards.
That
15 games.
That's like Elway and 86 numbers.
Seriously, dude, go back. You know what? Just you want to lose yourself on the internet, which like,
please
do some of these days. Go back and look at some of the quarterback stats from just pick a year, 85, 86.
Yeah,
guys are throwing like 38 interceptions.
Yeah.
Steve Pelor started an entire season for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if you guys might be again before your era. It's like 15 touchdowns and 30 something picks.
Nice.
He started
James
the entire season. They didn't bench him. He just played all year. Like that was the game.
Juggernaut.
Well, that's what I've said when
you didn't throw short. You just threw long. You run. Okay, it's 3rd and 11. Let's throw.
Yeah. That's what I think when, we talked about like Phillip Rivers and people are like, well, look at his numbers. He's all-time passing league. He's got to get in. He has more passing yards than Joe Montana, Gianelli, these other guys. It's a completely different game. Like you said, it's like that's not apples to apples comparison.
Well, look at someone like Bledsoe. Like Bledsoe for the longest time was in that I mean, I still think he threw for 3,600 or 36,000, whatever it is, the big number, 36,000 yards.
Yeah.
Which for a while there was top 5, top 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah. I don't know.
No.
There was a Monday Night Football game.
Years. He had some awesome years.
Yeah.
But he's not a Hall of Famer. No way.
Yeah. There was I think it was Pats Jets Monday night game where the preview was Joe Flacco is going to pass Joe Montana tonight on the all-time passing yards list.
I think you're right.
It's like, what are we doing?
And then he threw for 280 against the Patriots. Good God.
Oh, worst win of the year. That win really irked me.
That in the Arizona
Jets
game.
By 3. Yep, absolutely.
5-11. I hear all these people talk about the culture and and look, I get players don't care. They don't care about draft picks. They want to win. They're auditioning for either the job this year, next year, some other team. Like they're trying to play hard. They're not tanking.
Right. Well, that's why we're purposely making the show so terrible our first year, so we can get as low a barometer as possible.
Dan, you
then go from there.
You got Sopee working with you.
Wrong side. He heard you.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, I know what you mean.
That's pretty low budget. I mean,
sure is.
Sure
is. Go ahead, Soap. Let's let Mike get out of here. I'll let you wrap up.
Mr. Giardi, we'll let you get out of here on this one. This is the last question.
Oh boy.
Punting
in the wait, Chiefs Browns. I was trying to remember the game. In the Chiefs Browns game, Mahomes obviously went out with a concussion, and Chad Henne came in, was able to I wouldn't say carry them to victory, but he did kind of secure the victory. Is Pat Mahomes a system quarterback?
Totally. Clip that right there.
Yeah.
Pat
I'm
Mahomes
sending that straight to NFL Network. And
I'm sending that to your boss. Yeah.
Send it to the people in Kansas City. They'll love it. They will love it. They won't try to burn down my house or, steal my dog or none of that stuff.
Trust me, I made the joke on Twitter and things got personal with some trolls.
They don't. Twitter is such a civil place to begin with.
Sure is.
So
yes,
I love it.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? It's
a good time. There. Makes me always feel better about myself.
It does.
Shit on by high school kids with a picture of LeBron James as their avatar. But yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I try to remind myself to not argue with people that don't have what I think is their own picture.
Great way to live. Yep. It's going back and forth with someone named, I don't know.
Yeah.
Arden season with the Nets record being updated every week. I have a quick, not even a question, just your take before you go. Would you be willing to put out some quick predictions on this weekend live on our show?
Sure.
And America's going to hold you to?
I got the Chiefs 31-27.
Okay. That's fair.
And the Bills.
Say it. Come on, Mike.
I was feeling the Bills a little bit. I don't think they've played their best here in the postseason. I think maybe I don't want to say they peaked too soon, but
big win. If Josh Allen beats the Chiefs, that's
it'd be massive.
That's big. Yeah,
that would be massive. And I am going to pick. I just think it's fate. Tampa Bay is winning the game.
He's Thanos. It's
Green Bay. Green Bay has a habit of yakking these things up. They kind of have a little bit of New Orleans in them, right? I just, I don't know if I have a score for you, but I just have a feeling.
Okay.
Yep. And then you can enjoy 2 weeks plus. 2 weeks. It'll be.
What do you mean 2 weeks plus?
Whenever training camp starts again, we'll be hearing about how Brady got to the Super Bowl and the Patriots went 7-9 and are starting Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback next year. I don't want
to hear that at all.
I would love Fitz actually. But
I want to be firing the musket in the end zone after a touchdown.
I'd like Fitz if we draft a quarterback and then Fitz is like a bridge guy.
Yeah.
Do you think anyone's coming back in the quarterback room? Do you think Stidham or Hoyer come back?
Stidham is cheap.
Stidham has to, right? Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
He's making.
It's not a great attribute.
He's probably making $500,000. Yeah.
I guess you can keep him on payroll.
Yeah,
he might as well work on
this. Don't cut his health insurance. I can pay him close to that.
Wow.
I can cut him close to that. Yeah. We've come a long way since you last been on. Big time.
Serious.
We could promise him a much safer workplace with pretty much the same income and benefits.
More pressure though on a weekly basis.
There is more pressure.
So anyway.
I feel like I'm giving myself like a C+ for this performance today.
It hasn't been great.
I wasn't feeling Soapy's energy today. I don't think he was really bringing it today.
It hasn't been great. I'm debating even airing this thing.
The thing we were texting about yesterday showed up again today.
When it counts, when the lights
like
are
2
on.
months of this, at least.
And I apologize. I haven't addressed this. Last time I left you hanging by yourself, Mike. I had a family emergency to attend to. I can't believe you still came on. That was kudos to you.
And it was like, how long did he keep me too? Like, we're just pretending you're not here, by the way. Kept me like an hour.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
I was going to say
that's New Year.
That's a feather in my cap because let the record show that I've been here all 3 times. Availability is the best ability.
Well said.
Whatever the fuck that's saying.
That wasn't it, but well
said. That's the worst saying ever. I don't like, and now we just like people like buy it. Like, no, like there are guys that are available every week and they suck. You know, they're just mediocre players. Like, that's great. Yeah. Okay, fine. You play linebacker for such and such a team and you played all 16 games. Doesn't mean you played well. Just means there was nobody else to play.
Do you think fumbling through the end zone is the worst rule in sports?
I don't hate it as much as everybody else does.
I think it's
cool. How about if you protect the football?
Yes.
Okay, but I thought you agreed with me. My thing is like, if you fumble the ball at the 1 yard line, it's 1st and goal from the 1. If it happens to bounce 1 more yard and go at the pylon, it's a turnover and they get it to 20. That's crazy.
There should be some sort of maybe there's some sort of modification to the rule, but I just don't fumble a football. There's a reason why the coaches tell you not to lean it over on it's 4th down. You got to go for it. You got to throw it. You got to throw it across the plane. Do what you got to do. And if the ball gets knocked out, the ball gets knocked out. But on 1st down or 2nd down,
unacceptable.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Last thing. I promise this is the last thing. This is a quick fire answer. Better catchphrase in sports. Availability is the best ability, or my favorite, ball security is job security.
That one sucks.
That's a fire statement. Oh, come on.
And just can I throw another one? Can we stop with the cooking? Let Russ cook. I
love it.
Cook. Do you really?
Oh yeah. Big fan. Once we get rolling, once Sopee goes on one of his tangents, I just let Soap cook. Let Soap soak.
So speaking of which, this is the last thing for me. I spared you from my comedy bit tonight.
But now you got something.
I spared you from my comedy bit all night. I've been completely serious. If I was to run a headline by you for how the Saints season ended, this is what it would sound like. Drew Brees drew a blank.
That sucks.
Good to see.
No, it doesn't.
That sucks so bad. That's worse than the crap that you pitched on me the last 2 times. You didn't get better. You got worse.
That's because, dude, I went to the bottom of the pile to grab that one because I thought I don't want to hit him with like the really good stuff.
That's like, that's another saying, right? If you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
Oh, yes.
Well, you just got worse.
That's actually going on Soapy's tombstone, I think, when it's all said and done. All right, Mike, real quick, where's the best people to find you on Twitter?
Let's just go at Mike Giardi on Twitter and be nice to me. And don't have a, Bill Belichick face or Darth Vader or like whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. We'll let you get back. Thanks again for hopping on, man. Appreciate your time.
Hey, anytime, guys.
See you, buddy.
Yeah, you too. See you.
Thanks, Mike.